A great bonus with Solid Strings Book 1 are the free accompaniments arranged by Hollywood film orchestrator Sandy Stein. Just go to the free stuff menu on rubberbandarrangements.com. Give you a sample of what you're going to hear. Your friends and families will be so impressed when you perform. Welcome back. We are on page 12 of Solid Strings Book 1. You know so much, but it's now time to talk about rests. Rests. No, they're not rests. Rests are beats of silence. I like to think of rests as mentally active silences because we're actually counting during that quiet portion of playing. So I refer to them as MAS, Mass, which just happens to be my initials, but we're not really resting. We're just silencing the music. When you look at the top of page 12, you're going to see a variety of rests. You'll see a whole rest. A whole rest gets 4 beats of silence. You'll notice that it hangs from the staff, creating a whole. It takes up the whole measure, and you go down the whole to remember that you have a whole rest. 4 beats of silence. We have a half rest. Well, it looks like a whole rest, except it sits on top of the string. And if you were to really look and kind of use your imagination, it could look like a little hat with the line underneath and the little black bar on top of it. It's a half rest that looks like a hat. That's 2 beats of silence. Then we have something that looks like a squiggle. It's called a quarter rest. That's equal to 1 beat of silence. So we have whole rests, half rests, and quarter rests. We're going to introduce a new note to your repertoire of notes. G. Not OG, but G. The note G has a very cool sound. That means on the violin and viola, we're going to play our 3rd finger right next to our 2nd finger. They're going to be best friends. Those fingertips are going to touch. That's how close of friends they're going to be for the violin and viola. For the cello, we're going to add 4th finger to create that G on the D string. But for the contrabass, they get a new string, an open G string. So can we all play G on the D string for the violin, viola, and cello, and open G for the bass? Get your fingers down, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and the open string. Bow in position, ready to go. Check your bow hand. Do you have it balanced? Is everything curved the way it's supposed to be? Do you have a nice thumb bump? Here we go. Just a nice long G. Ready, go. Beautiful. That was a beautiful G. So we're going to work our way up to that G together by playing exercise number 47. You'll notice in exercise 47, we have a little bracket that looks like a great big V indicating the half step. A half step means that those 2 notes are close together, that there's no note that could squeeze in between those 2. They're going from one to the next. In this case, our half step is between F sharp and G. So we're going to work our way up on number 47 together. Instruments up and ready, please. Ready, begin. Those are beautiful Gs. Now there's a game we could play with those Gs. There's a game we could play with those half steps. If you've never played Mother May I, where one person acts as the mother and says, so-and-so, Susie, go take 2 giant steps forward, and she'll say, Mother May I, and she'll go, yes you may, and she takes 2 giant steps. Or she'll say, Billy, take 1 baby step backwards. And he has to take a little tiny step backwards if he says, Mother May I, and she says yes. Well, we're going to play a game called Teacher May I. And we're going to use half steps and whole steps in the process. So I'm going to need a couple of volunteers, or 1 volunteer. Does anybody want to volunteer to play Teacher May I? Yay! I've got 1 volunteer. So come on up front, Karen. I want a shot of my feet, so that I want you to look at the feet. A half step is going to be heel to toe, because they're touching, they're close together. A whole step will be a larger step, not a giant step, but a big step. There's space between. So I'm going to say, Karen, please take 1 half step forward. You forgot to say Mother May I? Go back.
Mother May I?
Yes, you may. Karen, please take 2 whole steps backwards.
Mother May I?
Yes, you may. 1, 2. It's very simple, and this is a great way to learn your half steps and whole steps. Thank you, Karen. That you could play with your friends. You could play with your siblings. You could play with your parents. You could play with whoever happens to be around, or you could play with your class. Really fun to do. On that same page 12, you get a chance to write in the music. You're going to write 4 quarter note Gs on the staff on number 48. You're going to do 2 half note Ds in measure 2 of 48. And then the last measure of number 48, you're going to make a whole step of F sharp. You are learning your notes. You are reading from the staff, and you are reading your rhythms, and you are understanding half steps and whole steps. All right, who's ready to play ball? I am too. So we're going to go over to number 49 and play extra innings with the notes you know. Instruments up and ready. Check your bow position, check your bow placement. Check your tunnels, check your left hand, make sure there are no collapsed wrists, everything is relaxed. Make sure that if you're a violinist or violist, I'm now referring to you as violinist and violist because you know how to play, with your chin in the chin rest, shoulder on the shoulder pad, and that you're holding that instrument up, not with your hand, but with your chin and your shoulder. And we're going to play number 49, extra innings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play ball. That was wonderful. Bravo. And we're going to go on to number 50, dancing cats. I think I've seen that on the internet. Somebody posted some dancing cats somewhere amongst the myriad of cat videos that we were probably subjected to. So we are ready for dancing cats. Ready? Meow. Ready? Meow. Okay, here we go. Number 50, dancing cats. Ready, begin. Beautiful. Now, when we're doing this, do you know you can go back and play the same things pizzicato? You can practice the left hand if that's where you're finding it more challenging. Practice it pizzicato. Get those notes under your fingers. Then go back and use your bow. Practice it at the balance point. Practice it at the frog. There's so much that you can do. You can also learn to be the conductor. I love when the class takes turns and they get to be the conductor. When you are the conductor, you are giving signals to your orchestra, because eventually you're going to be playing in the Elastic Orchestra books, where you'll get to play with many, many musicians in many, many different parts, and it's beautiful and fun, but you need to know how to follow a conductor. A conductor gives you a signal. First off, right here, right at that chest bone, is called the ictus. It sounds like a very fancy word for the chest bone, but that's where the beat lies, is at the ictus. To create that 4/4 beat, 4 beats to a measure with a quarter note receiving 1 beat, as you've learned previously, this is the upbeat to get to that first beat. So it's 1 to the left, 2 to the right, 3, and back up for 4. So let's do that together, everybody. Take your right hand, and we're going to all be the conductor. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you always want to have that beat hit at that ictus. That way everybody is in the same spot. So take extra innings, take dancing cats, take your favorite and mine, hot cross buns, and take turns being the conductor. Make it fast, make it slow, make it medium. Have fun being the conductor. Thank you all so much. Great job on page 12. You are truly solid string players.